update you on breaking news out of Miami as
12
well. This is
floors,
new video
gone
that
in
shows
2
some more
seconds.
survivors in
The
that deadly
Surfside
condo collapse. We just
Condominium
learned
Disaster.
within the past hour,
Welcome back
159
to Horror
people are
Funk
still
Town,
unaccounted for.
where we explore some of the darkest moments in history. Today, we're diving into the tragic collapse of the Champlain Towers South in Surfside, Florida, a disaster that stunned the world and claimed nearly 100 lives in the blink of an eye. In the early hours of June 24th, 2021, the residents of Champlain Towers South were abruptly awakened by a thunderous noise. What they didn't realize at that moment was that their building, a seemingly solid 12-story structure, was beginning to crumble. In just 12 seconds, the central section of the condominium collapsed entirely, turning what was once a luxurious beachfront property into a pile of rubble and chaos. Surfside, a serene and upscale beach town near Miami, was home to this ill-fated building. Champlain Towers South was considered a prime piece of real estate, offering residents stunning ocean views and a suite of amenities that included a heated pool, gym, and sauna. Yet beneath the surface, there were hidden dangers that had been festering for decades. Just moments before the collapse, a couple staying in a nearby hotel noticed something strange. A pile of rubble and water pouring into the garage of Champlain Towers South. This ominous sign was a precursor to the disaster that would soon unfold. At around 1:22 a.m., the concrete beams of the garage ceiling failed, causing the pool deck to cave in. This initial collapse set off a catastrophic chain reaction, bringing down the entire central section of the building in what is known as a pancake collapse. Witnesses described the scene as resembling a controlled demolition. Floors piled on top of each other in a matter of seconds, creating a cloud of dust that blanketed the area. The western portion of the building remained standing, but its northern part, now exposed, revealed the horrifying sight of half-destroyed apartments teetering on the edge. In one top-floor apartment, a child's bunk bed stood precariously close to the abyss, a chilling reminder of the lives that were lost in an instant. Emergency services responded quickly, with the first call to the fire brigade coming in just 1 minute after the collapse. What they encountered was nothing short of a war zone. The central section was completely destroyed, while the voices of trapped residents echoed from beneath the rubble. Despite the overwhelming devastation, some survivors managed to escape the ruins, their harrowing stories a testament to the fragility of life. One of the most remarkable rescues involved Jonah Handler, a teenager who, along with his mother, Stacy Dawn Fang, was trapped beneath a 500-pound concrete slab. Miraculously, Jonah was spotted by a passerby who saw his fingers reaching through the wreckage. Firefighters raced to the scene, carefully lifting the slab with air jacks, knowing that one wrong move could be fatal. Jonah was rescued about an hour after the collapse, but his mother tragically succumbed to her injuries later in the hospital. As the rescue operation continued, the scale of the disaster became increasingly apparent. Within days, the number of confirmed dead rose, while many others remained unaccounted for. The community and the nation watched in horror as the death toll climbed, with hopes of finding more survivors fading with each passing hour. The disaster prompted a massive response, with specialized rescue teams, including FEMA's Urban Search and Rescue Task Force, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and even a unit from the Israeli Defense Forces, arriving to assist in the recovery efforts. These teams worked tirelessly, 24 hours a day, in dangerous conditions made worse by an underground fire that filled the wreckage with smoke. But time was not on their side. On July 1st, a week after the collapse, the search for survivors had to be temporarily halted. The western wing of the building, which was still standing but dangerously unstable, posed a significant risk to the rescue teams working beneath it. With Tropical Storm Elsa looming, there was an urgent need to demolish the remaining portion of the building before it collapsed on its own. On July 4th, amid somber Independence Day celebrations, the authorities announced that the remaining section of Champlain Towers South would be demolished that night. While most agreed with the decision, a group of residents was concerned about their missing pets, fearing that they would be lost forever if the building was brought down. Despite their pleas, the demolition went ahead, and by 10:30 p.m., the remaining structure was reduced to rubble. In the days that followed, rescue efforts continued, but by July 26th, the last body had been recovered, bringing the final death toll to 98. Only 3 residents survived the collapse, making it one of the deadliest building failures in U.S. history. The Champlain Towers South disaster shocked the nation, leading to intense scrutiny of the building's history and the failures that led to its collapse. Built in 1981, the condominium was far from low-budget real estate, with condos listed for $600,000 to $700,000 and a penthouse that had sold for just under $3 million. Yet, beneath its luxurious exterior, the building was plagued by serious structural issues. In 2018, an engineering firm had been hired to inspect the building, and their report was damning. The waterproofing beneath the pool deck had failed, causing significant structural damage to the concrete slab below. The report warned that if the waterproofing was not replaced, the damage would worsen exponentially. But despite the clear warnings, repairs were slow to start, and the true extent of the danger was not fully appreciated. 3 days before the collapse, a pool contractor had inspected the area and was alarmed by what he saw: water pooling on the floor, large cracks in the concrete, and rusted rebar exposed. It was a sign that the structure had been deteriorating for decades, and the collapse was not just a sudden failure, but the result of years of neglect. Investigations into the disaster are still ongoing. The National Institute of Standards and Technology, NIST, has been tasked with determining the exact cause of the collapse, but their work is expected to take years. Meanwhile, questions about the quality of the original construction, the effect of environmental factors like salt and humidity, and possible corruption during the building's approval process continue to loom large. In June 2022, nearly a year after the collapse, a $1.02 billion settlement was reached between the accused parties and the victims' families. This settlement, however, is little consolation for the lives lost and the communities forever changed by the disaster. In response to the collapse, Florida has implemented new laws requiring older buildings to undergo regular structural inspections. But for the residents of Surfside, these measures come too late. The Champlain Towers South disaster serves as a stark reminder of the importance of building safety and the devastating consequences when those responsibilities are ignored. Thank you for watching this episode of Horror Funk Town. If you found this story as haunting as we did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most terrifying events. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.